Alright, I think it's working. Yay, I did it! Hi, everybody! Hello! Welcome back to a special kind of video. If you remember, we last did one of these back in September of, like, 2023? So it was a while ago. So hey, if you haven't seen since then, a couple of things have happened. One, I move. No longer just a PNG, which is kind of exciting. Also the fact, we hit another goal. And so, I have to stop saying chat because there's no chat here. It's just YouTube. Hi, YouTube. Hi, welcome back. For those of you guys that haven't met me before, I'm Kyuu. We did a Plush tour a little while ago, and, we hit one of our goals recently, and, one of that was for a Plush tour again. So for this month's video, we are gonna be going on a fun excursion to see what it is like in my room. Although I should say that there is a couple of these that do live in the living room at least. I don't know why that keeps popping up. I haven't figured that out. So I started making this, but I started making it an open office first, and it wasn't working right, so I switched to Canva. And I've never done a presentation through Canva before, so I'm hoping this works. But yeah, welcome to the Plush tour. Welcome to part 2. So I've changed out some people. I've gotten rid of some stuffed animals, and obviously I've gotten more since then. As you'll come to find, stuffed animals are like my love language. So I get a lot of them, and a lot of people send them to me, and I make a lot, and then I give a lot as gifts. So, you know, similar to before, at the very least. Because if you watch part 1, it won't be too exciting, because you'll kind of know what the twist is. But I want to show off some of the ones that I own, and some of the ones that I've made since the last time that we did one of these. So, hey, it'll be cool. It'll be fun. We got some chill hop in the background. Just a little bit of music. It's gonna be great. So, let's get started, because I got a lot. So, we're gonna be here for hopefully less than 2 hours, but we'll see. So, first of all, the whole reason why we're doing this, and I don't know why the Thrumbo picture looks like that. I can't figure that out. So if somebody is smarter than me and knows how to work Canva, let me know. But, I swear he doesn't look like that in real life. But anyway, the whole reason why we did this is a very kind, generous person bought me a little Bunger plush from Fangamer, so I appreciate it. So if you guys haven't seen, I do have a throne. We do have a couple of different goals on there, and there is stuff that you guys can send to me, which is always really kind. I never expected or anything like that. But for this one, if we got Bunger, I said I would do another updated Plush tour, so that's exactly where we are. So, yay, we have Bunger. He's very cute. He's very soft. You too can get him at Fangamer. So this whole slide is like the video game ones, because I'm trying to parse down some of the stuffed animals that I have from video games to the ones that are like especially important to me. Like the Bunger one is just like a fun one, you know, of like things that are really important to the stream. So the Thrumbo, albeit if you remember from the first part, I don't like him as much because he's kind of plasticky feeling, but I like him because we have played so much RimWorld, and there's so many people that have found the stream in the community from RimWorld that it's really nice to have kind of like a piece of that. Same thing with Satisfactory. Me and Cap'n and then Twerk afterwards for season 4, we played so much of it. I think it's still one of my top streamed games for the entire time. So it's kind of important to have something from that, you know, something that's like quintessential. So, and I really do like the lizard dog, so I'm trying to keep that, and it's really nice and it's really sweet, and I like all of them. I think they're really cute. They're very, very soft, but yeah. So these are some of my plushes so far. Don't worry, there's gonna be more, because here's the best part. We got another slide of more video game ones. Because what's also important to note, if you haven't been stopping by the streams, not only have we been doing more weird content, I've even been doing fun content where I'm making plushes too. So if you haven't seen, we're starting to do sewing streams, so you may wonder what the heck this is. The littler one, this little pygmy plush, which you can get from TCG Game Shop Simulator, which we were playing pretty religiously for quite a while. The little one, we made a sub goal where I said, you know, it wouldn't be too difficult, and I made one of the plushes, and the pygmy one is my favorite one because in the game, his eye is all screwed up. Now, on the official one, the one that you can get from Makeship, which was very kindly given to me by Pyrrha, so thank you, Pyrrha, he's cute, but he doesn't match the game, so I wanted to make one that was faithful to the game. So we even did this last year. Like, this was a while ago. The Makeship campaign was like a couple of months ago. So this was a bit ago. Actually, I think it's already a year. Wait, it would have been 2024 now. Yeah, we made him in 2024, so it's been a bit. So we made the little guy. I made it where his tail actually has like a little bit of wire in it, so it matches the game model. I made it all out of leftover fabric. I took a couple of pieces, put them together to kind of make the little yellow. You can kind of see it on the front-facing one, which I thought was weird that Makeship did that, but I still think he's pretty cute. He doesn't really get like the bulbous feel that I kind of went with, so I'm kind of glad that we were able to kind of emulate that in such a way. But he was fun. I didn't really have a pattern. We kind of drafted it on stream. The legs were part of an Among Us pattern that I had from a while ago, and then the bulb piece, the actual body, is from Tiff, who also does a whole bunch of sewing and stuff, and did like a blob pattern, and so I used that as the base and then put everything on top of it and patterned all the rest. So we patterned out the flame hair, we patterned out the ears, you know, we added all the little pieces and stuff. So I think he came out really great, and it's kind of nice having both of them, so it's just like a little piece of Americana. If, like, that's the best way to describe it. You know, like how you have something that's like 70 years old, and you're like, well, I can't get rid of it because great-great-grandma had it, and it's like a horse hitching post, and it's like, who has a horse? You know, that type of thing. So, I mean, we played a lot of it, and we raised a lot of money for charity with it. So it's kind of nice having something like that, so I don't think I'll ever get rid of them, but we made that on stream. So now's also a good time to say, hey, come and hang out with us at some point. We've been making a whole bunch of stuff, and you'll see more of them, but I thought it was nice to put them together, so. Yay! Aren't they cute? I love this little stupid thing. I love him so much, and chat kind of rallied around him because we just really like the hog, and I made it a hog shrine. It was a whole thing. Don't just trust me, it was a whole thing. So then now we've got some of the plushes that have been given to me. Now some of these are actually some of the ones that I've already had previously. Like if you remember from first part, I already had Swagathor. However, he's still cute. That came from my friend Jacques. He actually lives in the window that the cat hangs out in, so he's always constantly around. He's always hanging out in the little living room. Don't worry, you'll see a little bit later. Then I've got an owl that came from my grandpa's house when we were clearing it out a couple of years ago. My grandpa always wanted to be known for like owls and things. He nicknamed himself after a Western star, so they all called him Hoop. So everyone would just give him owls. So when we were clearing out the house, there was just like hundreds of owls, like owl statues, owl magnets, anything that could be owls. So I took one of the owls with me. So, and then my dad gave me that bear, and I gave the whole story the last time. I actually used him as part of a cosplay. I've actually had that bear since I was born. So he's kind of special to me. So I kind of keep those. But then more recently, and you'll see a little bit later, I had a friend of mine who is a co-worker of another friend who I met them through, who was asking me about some of the stuff that I work on. And I said, oh, well, I make some stuffed animals sometimes, because it's really kind of weird to kind of explain to people like, oh, you're a Twitch streamer, and they'll be like, what does that mean? So I said, oh, I make stuffed animals. You know, even if I go to like an interview for something, I'm like, I do stuffed animals. I don't say that I do Twitch stuff. I'm sorry, I'm not mad at you guys or anything like that or anything weird like that. It's just really hard to describe that. Sometimes it's easier just to be like, yeah, I make things. So we traded and they thought it was really nice and they gave me this little tiny little owl. And this thing is tiny. This thing is little. So I keep it up here on my little shelf all the time. So I always really like it. I don't really like some of the new Beanie Babies with their weird eyes, so I was really okay with this one because these eyes are a little smaller. You know what I'm talking about? Like the really big beady ones that are like the size of like a dinner plate. I don't really like those very much. And then I'm kind of covering it, but then we got Kyrie Dragon. Kyrie Dragon's still there. As you can see, sits on the Surger now, has actually taken the spot where Zero used to sit, and keeps the cat from playing with all of that. So thanks, Kyrie. I always appreciate it. But that's also from my friend Jacques, because, well, people, that's my love language is what I've been saying, is I get, a lot of people give me stuffed animals, and then I give them stuffed animals back, so it's just this endless cycle of just soft things going back and forth, so, oops. And then we got, my lovely Blaharj. I know it's Blahol, but, I call him Blaharj because I think it's funnier. I sleep with him. He's very cute, he's very soft, he's very comfy. I did wash him recently, so he really smells good, like more so than normal, and I think that's really cute. But he's definitely an icon, and I had to have one, so he's still there. I've been debating getting another one, but then I got the question of, where are you putting it? And I went, oh no. Oh no, I don't know. I don't know where it'll go. So I don't think I'm gonna get another one. I think we'll just stick with one Blaharj for now. And then we've got my so my original kind of how to put it, obsession was genuine Alpacassos. So I have a few of them. I've got a couple of them from a couple of different lines, especially the yellow one is one of the more recent ones, so I really like them. All of them are genuine, but all of them are a little bit worse for wear, so they're not worth anything. They're just cute and they're for me. So the pink one up at the top, that's Ross. Then we have the yellow one is Senior Steve, Swaddle Waddle Bottom Season. Yes, this naming convention is going to continue. So those two actually hang out in my closet now. Senior Steve, as you can kind of see, like that black thing in the back, that's actually my witch hat that I made a couple of years ago for Halloween. He actually holds that, and then Ross hangs out with him. In my bed, as you can see, then we have Admiral Captain Barclays Carlington III, which is my former artist friend's fake name based off of like a UK bank, because he thought it was really funny. So I got that little tiny, like, sailor one. It was a whole line that they had a couple of years ago. Then we've got Sir Lord Frederick Ringle Bergston III. So that's that one. That's the pink one. And he's really cute. And then I actually have another one down there at the bottom. I actually won that one in a crane game, but he doesn't have any name. He's just really cute. He's a little, like, kind of rainbow guy. But he's one of the mini Alpacassos. He's really cute. I like him. He hangs out on the shelf literally above where I sew every day. So he just kind of lives there. And as you can see, there's a little purple thing above him. Don't worry, that'll come into play a little bit later. So next, we've got the Pokemon area. So a couple of these are returning. So, Mew, I've had for a while. Chikorita Giratina the Chikorita we've had for a while. And then my friend Thimble was making a whole line of, like, the Poké Dolls. But, I really like Ivysaur. I like the whole Bulbasaur line. And so I got the Ivysaur one that they were selling. But then I've started to kind of, you know, expand, and I wish I would have taken some pictures before we put away a whole bunch of the Christmas ones, because I have more Pokemon Christmas ones, but we just got an Eevee pillow recently with all of my winnings from the arcade. And then Patch actually recently sent me a Punkaboo. So that's over in the bottom corner. And so Punkaboo actually now lives in the living room. I think he's really cute. I don't want to put him away or like put him out for Halloween or anything like that. I think he's just going to be a permanent staple. So I've got like the Build-A-Bear Mew. I've got a friend of mine got a Giratina stuffed animal at a convention that we were at. And I was mad because I wanted it, but they only had one. So instead, Jacques bought me Chikorita, because I also like Chikorita. And so we have Giratina the Chikorita and Chikorita the Giratina. So it's like we're sharing. It's like we're sharing, which I thought was one of the funniest things. So Chikorita has actually moved on. So if you remember back at the beginning, Chikorita was actually in a little glass dome. We've actually since made a little craft with that dome. I had actually bought that years ago with the plan to do that, so Chikorita was just hanging out in there just to kind of be out of the way and kind of fill that space with something. So that's why Chikorita was in the glass dome, but is no longer and has been freed, and you know, just hangs out now. So yay! Then we've got my penguin squad, because I really like penguins. Also, if you've kind of noticed, ignore all of the hair and ignore all of like the little bits on all of the chair and stuff. It's all cat hair. Cat hair lives on everything. So we've got a couple, as you can see. We have one of the penguins that you can get from round 1. There's like a whole penguin line that you can get now, and so this one's the little one in like the bear outfit. I really liked the pink. Then we've got, if you remember from the first Plush tour, I had all of the Animal Crossing penguins. I actually got rid of a bunch of them, because we were running out of space in the living room, and I feel bad having all of my stuffed animals just kind of everywhere. So we kind of pared it down to some of my actual favorites. I had already talked about this before. There were some like quality control issues and stuff, but they're still cute. So that's why I like them, because they're my favorites anyway. It's very infrequent that you'll find any of them as like official stuff. So I was happy to support an artist, and then I just donated it to like the local thrift store. So hopefully some kid gets to enjoy some penguins, you know. So it's a good time anyway. So I still have Tex, I still have Frigga, and I still have Roald from Animal Crossing. Now that's from Pig Key, yeah, who is an independent artist. Made a whole bunch of these through a menu, and they're super cute. They are pretty okay-ish made, but as the line kept going, there was some quality control issues, at least with the ones that I was getting. So I kind of stopped grabbing each and every one of them, and then I got rid of the ones that I didn't want. So, and then we've got my penguin in the back. That's the one wearing the little red coat. That's actually the very first penguin I ever got, that came from my second cousin. And I've had him ever since, and he's really cute. And he used to have a little snowflake in his pocket, and he has not in probably 15 years. So he's a well-loved, well-traveled little guy. Then we have the blue one in the front. That's 3D. That is the penguin from Aurora Penguin Drum, and one of my favorites, because I love Himari. Himari is my favorite character, like probably ever. But so I was really excited to see that there was any kind of merch for Penguin Drum. So I was like, oh hell yeah. So then we also have the little pink one down in the bottom corner. So that's Pinky. That's one that I got recently, because they have little like mini gacha ones that you can do now. So that's where the alpaca, the little rainbow alpaca came from. So you can get those out of there too. And that'll come into play a little bit later, don't worry. Then we still have Zero. Zero still exists. And the second Zero, because if you remember from the first part, we actually have 2 of them in this house. So mine still's here. Mine's still hanging out. He's still just celebrating Christmas all the time. He's just a really cute little penguin. So I love penguins. They're my favorite thing. And a long time ago, I made one. And maybe at some point, maybe I'll make another one. Maybe that'll be a nice little thing for me to do, maybe on stream. But if you ever want to see anything on stream, let me know, and I'll see if it's something I could do. Especially to kind of clear out some fabric. So then we got the lovely Riley, who is a friend of ours, a lovely streamer friend, sent me a Bucky's care package and sent me the Bucky's beaver. So I put it in the living room, and as you can see, if you remember where Swagathor lives, it is a window, and the cat loves that window. So if you notice, everything's covered in cat hair because that is the cat's window. And when I sat down to take a picture of the Bucky's beaver, the cat got mad and went, "Why are you in my window?" So this is the actual cat going, "Why are you in my window?" And he just busted in. He's like, let me see. So I thought you guys would appreciate my cat just photobombing the Bucky's beaver. It was like, buddy, it's okay. There's nothing out there. It's been so cold here, because I'm doing this at like the end of January. It's so cold. It's so freezing. So the cat has not been sitting in the window because it's been so cold, but the second you go near the window, he's like, "Oh no, that's my spot." So, man, what a good little guy. Then we've got my anime section. So this is like the Japanese kinds of ones. So we still have Menma. Menma's still around. She's still my favorite. She hangs out on my little cabinet just permanently. I still haven't fixed her bow yet. I said that in the last part that maybe I should do that at some point. Still haven't. I also recently got from one of the Crane games. It's this little corduroy little Hello Kitty, and it's so cute and it's so soft. I love the texture difference between the two, because all the clothing is like this really nice, like kind of linen-y corduroy that's kind of thick. So it feels like actual clothing. And you'll come to find that that's one of the things I really not like, is especially with some of these plushes that are supposed to have clothes, is using actual clothes. And don't worry, that'll come into play. So I was like, oh, that's really cute and nifty. So I had to get it. I had to get it out of the machine. And now she's just here for forever. Then we've got more of the anime section. So there is a Japanese arcade near me. Actually, there's a couple of them, all within like, I think like an hour or two. I go to the one frequently, but there's another one that's nearby. But we started getting, cause Critter, my roommate, and I, we really like Spy Family. So we started getting a whole bunch of those. So first they came out with those regular sitting ones, and I was trying to find a Yor one, but they only had one of the flying ones, you know, the ones where they're lying on their front type of thing. So I got Yor for that, but I wasn't able to get one that matches Anya and Lloyd in the back. But then they had a whole bunch of the mini ones in a mini crane machine. So then we were gunning for those, and we were able to get the full set. So I've actually got 2 sets of them. So now I'm starting like a Spy Family collection. They also had Kiroberos in one of them recently, so I ended up getting him. He's cute. See, he's kind of like on that front. It's kind of like a laying one. I think sometimes they also call it a Kutari one. I think that's what it's called. But where they're laying down. And then we've got the Fryren in the corner. I actually just got the middle one recently. The other 2 were actually in the previous video. Those ones were a gift from Critter. But the middle one we just got out of the crane machines. Whole bunch of us went. I think there was like 5 or 6 of us, and we were getting a whole bunch of the figures, and then I saw her. I was like, oh my god, I have to have her. She was really annoying to get, though, because she's so hefty and heavy. So normally what I do for those crane machines is I try and drop them in such a way where they bounce out instead of relying on the claw. Because a lot of the American ones, the claw ones, are like weight-based, so they'll kind of stop themselves up to a certain point so that you don't win too frequently. But she was just so awkward, she would just bounce back into place, and I was like, alright, great. Then we got my Ebe corner, and if you haven't been around long enough, you probably wouldn't know this, but I streamed for many years now. I actually started back in like 2013. I started out doing Civilization 5, and then I came back, I think it was in like 2014, and I kind of did my whole restart by doing Japanese horror RPGs, you know, like some of the RPG Maker ones. One of the first ones was Eve. So I did that, I did Lily, I did Mad Father, I did Witch's House, I did all of those. So I've always been a big fan of Eve. So when I saw that Fangamer had these, I was like, I have to get them. Especially the Mary one. I was okay if I didn't get the other two, but Mary and Gary were like the two that I was like, I need to. The only problem was that it was out of stock. So I was really sad about that for a while because for some reason people really like scalping these plushes. And now you can only find them on eBay for like $300 for all three of them. But they're like 25, 30 bucks on Fangamer. So they actually re-released them and they came back out. So I bought Mary first, and then I got the notification that Eve was out. So I ordered her, and then less than an hour later, they released Gary, and I was like, oh shit. And so I contacted support, and I was like, can I add it on? But then it was in the middle of the holiday thing, so they weren't really responding, so I just canceled the order and then just reordered them. So I got all three of them. So yay, I saved some money from scalpers. They're really cute. They have little magnets, so they have all their little accessories, so all their little flowers and stuff that you can see. So you can remove those and everything. So they're really cute. I really like them. So that was my Christmas present to myself. But I've been amassing more bats. As you can see, they're all covered in stuff. The reason for that is the black one in the bottom corner, which was like just like a throwaway kind of Halloween one from Aldi. He actually lives on my chair. But the problem is because I also work in this room, as you can see, there's like little bits of stuffing and fluff and things like that. It just gets stuck to them. I don't like the texture of them, so I try not to grab onto them. When I was looking at the picture, it didn't look like it was that woolly. I don't like that texture, but I think he's really cute, so I'm gonna keep him. Then we've got the massive amount of bats in the top corner. Now in the middle is a special one. I'll go over that one a little bit later, but we've got quite a few of them. They're actually the same ones from the first part. So we've got one from my friend Zach. We have the official one from BZ Art, who makes this pattern for these bats. Another one from my friend Zach that's an official banana one that they did as a full line with like little bobas and stuff. They're really cute. Then Banana the Bat, who I made. Skipping Chat Bat in the middle. Spoilers. And then at the bottom is from Caitlin's Crafts, which is a orange creamsicle bat. I really like these yellow bats, but Zach and I had done like a trade, and so we traded bats back and forth for a while. So it was a ton of fun, but more bats, because I like bats. Speaking of bats, though, so that's pretty much all of the ones that I've kind of have that I haven't made. So I have cleared a lot of them. A lot of them are now kind of seasonal and they'll kind of rotate out. So I still have other ones like the one for Maho Carp. I still have all of the Halloween ones like the Mimikyu and stuff like that. It's easier for me just to take them out every couple of months because now there's so many that I can kind of, you know, how to put it, kind of not take over the house. Because my office is getting very crowded and there's not really any places to put them. So I'm hoping maybe after redoing a couple of pieces in the office, because it's kind of falling apart in some areas because it really wasn't updated before I had bought the house. So, you know, we'll see how it goes. Well, we'll see. So maybe I'll put up some shelves and maybe be able to put out some more of them. But most of them are in storage that aren't on here. Just waiting for, like, you know, more space for them to get put out, really. But speaking of bats, now for the fun part, I still also make stuffed animals too. So I wasn't lying. I kind of make the bats for fun now. for a number of different things. So not only am I doing them for fun, but I also do them to give them out to people, because I still have so much left over from when I was working as like a proper seamstress like all the time. So I've just been making tons of them just for fun. Like the red one up in the top corner went to my hairdresser because I was going to see her right before Christmas. I made the sunflower one for one of her kids. So I brought both of those to her, and like a whole bunch of the little mini bat keychains. So once again, these ones are like the Beezy art ones. All of these ones, there'll be more bat patterns later, don't worry. But the one in the middle, I was originally actually going to send to our streamer friend Velvet, but I screwed up and one of the eyes was popping out. So I tried super gluing it in, but what happened was a whole bunch of it got stuck on the outside of the back of the head. And so I went, well, I'm not gonna like this. And so I went to go and throw away the little bat head, but then I realized and I went, oh, the bat doesn't deserve it. So at some point, I'm gonna make him a body, and then that one's gonna be mine. Because I do keep some of the mess up ones, or I'll give them out to some of the kids and stuff. So I do like doing that. Or like the ones in the bottom corner, all three of those. Those ones actually went to Cap'n. So Cap'n had me do a big sewing project. I'll get to that one at the very end. But I wanted to make a whole bunch of bats. We have like a little fox bat. We have a red and gold one. We have a little coffee bat. Just so much fun, because I like giving them out. Now, all these ones in this bottom corner, though, I had originally listed them on Etsy. I think I sold 2 of them. I think the cookie one, and I think the tiny black one. Because if you notice, there's like a little itty bitty one down there. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's like 12, 13 bats there. None of them sold. And I think that's a political climate thing. And I think also the fact that I don't ship overseas, because it causes so many problems with shipping and things. And then things get lost and then I got to replace it. So I never wanted to do that in the first place. I think it just made it much harder for me. That I went, you know what, this is probably a better thing for me to instead, because now I'm in an area where there's actually kids that do trick-or-treating or stuff, I give them out at Halloween instead. So now that's what I've been doing. I'm either giving them to people or I'm giving them to the local kids. So I'll give them bats, or sometimes I make the little keychains and stuff. So then I can give them out to them. And it's really nice. Not only does it help clear out some of the fabric that I have, like little extra bits, and I can make like scrappy ones, but then kids get to be happy. Because there are a whole bunch of kids that come through that are like, oh, I can't have any candy. Or sometimes we'll get older kids that don't want the candy. Or, you know, kids that couldn't come out and stuff like that. So then it makes me feel happier that I can give them something alternatively too. And then I don't have to keep all these bats. I'm running out of space for all of these stuffed animals, let alone the stuff that I'm making. So here's some more bats. The blue one actually went to a friend of mine who recently lost her dad, who was the whole reason why I even started making these in the first place. So thanks, Breck. I really appreciate it. So I wanted to do something nice, and I sent a little bat over. And then we have a second appearance of Chat Bat. So we had a fun little stream where Chat wanted to make a bat, and so I put a listing of all of the fabrics that I had, and Chat voted on all of them. And so this monstrosity is officially what the conglomerate that is Chat looks like. So I guess you could say it's our mascot. But I've been starting to do not only just bats in general for fun, but I upscaled the pattern. So if you look, these bats are actually bigger. They're bigger and they have bigger eyes. So these ones are a little bit easier because now I could just throw them completely through the machine, because my machine isn't able to make such tiny, tedious things like other machines are able to. Mine's just a pretty cheap machine. It's not really meant for minute details and stuff. So being able to make something bigger makes it easier on me. So then I just I either make like the really teeny tiny ones, or I make the regular sized ones you can get with the pattern that comes from BZ Art, or I just make the bigger size. And it's a ton of fun. I get to do something different. So we made more. Not only can you see that we've made in the bottoms, some of them on stream. So that's what those 2 screen captures are from. So I made the pink one up in the top for Mousy. The 3 up in the top, those ones went to Riley. The one in the middle went to my cousin's significant other, who wanted like a little celestial bat. I actually had that little Saturn charm. I used to wear that as a necklace when I was in middle school. And I was like, I think that's gonna go perfect on there. And I added all kinds of little jewelry and stuff, because they're always wearing jewelry whenever I see them. So I was like, well, I guess the bat should probably match. And then we made a chocolate-covered cherry bat. We made a whole bunch of blueberry bats. So you could see there's the little teeny tiny one, and then there's one of the regular ones. So I gave those out at Halloween to some of the kids. Then I started doing some different bats. So up on the top is one of our friends, Akunit, who has a little mascot by the name of Taro, who has only 1 wing. So I used a pattern from Teacup Lion or Teacup Laura, depends on what the platform is. I took off one of the wings. I finagled some of like the face that it kind of comes with. I added some different pieces and things like that, and made that. And I really liked that little pattern, so I started making it for other people. So then up in the top corner on the other side is actually Jalal Alaric, who's another VTuber friend of ours. So I made him, but as a large fat bat. So I added all of his jewelry, I added his scarf, I added his front tabard, I added his little braid on the side. And then, as you can see, there's little tiny keychains too. That's also from Laura too. So that is a free pattern. So if you have a machine that'll do In the Hoop, you can actually get that as well. And then down in the bottom corner, I had to make one for Velvet too. So as you can see, that's where that tiny bat head came from, was I was making all of this for Velvet. So I was trying to go based off of Velvet's old model. It's not her newer one with like the lace and everything. This is much closer to her original one. So it's super cute. And then in the other corner, this crazy little thing, that is a Snoot. So for a while, Riley was having that as a official mascot, and we did the colorings for it. I patterned out the face. I hand stitched that on the machine with like a crummy kind of stitch to mimic a satin stitch. I added the belly. I patterned out the ears myself. I made the pattern for the tail and everything that you can kind of see back there. I used I kind of used the wing as a basis from Laura's pattern. That's why I put it here, but it needed to be a little smaller, so I used the concept of it, but I made it personally, like the wing itself. So it only matches that pattern specifically, but I thought he came out really cute. We did that one on stream too. We also did Jalal's on stream as well, but I didn't tell anyone it was Jalal's. So we just made the black and white bat, and then I said nothing, and then afterwards, after stream, I started making all the little accoutrement. So it was the perfect crime. It was the perfect crime, and chat couldn't go and tell Jalal that it was going on. So and then I made some more stuff. So that friend of mine, Mads, who gave me the owl, I ended up making a blue elephant for. And they work with kids too. So I guess some of the kids tried to walk off with it. So literally, I guess I did good. I guess the kids liked it. I made a tiny red panda for a streamer friend of mine who I've known for many, many years. I also made a little toucan too, but I didn't actually get a picture of that. And then I made some stuff for Rin. Rin wanted a lizard where the tail could pop off. So there's like a little bit of Velcro in the back. You can kind of see the leopard gecko tail at the back. That one is a pattern from Choli Knight, as well as the elephant as well. Now, the elephant, though, is a free one, so you can go and grab that one if you want. But the one at the bottom is a paid one. The one up at the top is from TS Mini Bears. As you can see, that thing is tiny. Absolutely tiny. I have a whole bunch of their patterns. They're super cute. The toucan's made out of that as well. And then we've got these little mice, and they're kind of themed, and I sent that one to Mousy. Because if you haven't been around streams, our friend Mousy RVA got married last year, and I went to the wedding, and I forgot the present. I made them and I left them at home. I drove all the way, and halfway through this like 9-hour drive, I went, oh shit, I realized I forgot the wedding present. So I had to send it to Mousy afterwards. But that one is a pattern actually from Teacup Laura, but that's actually based off an Animal Crossing pattern, so that's actually the Marshall pattern. But I edited it to take the koala ears that are part of an add-on for it, but I use them to make little mouse ears. So they're two little mice. They're two little wedding mice. You can kind of see behind me. There's like a little bit of flowers in the hair. Hold on. This might be easier. Yeah, there we go. There's like flowers in the hand and stuff, and I stuck it through on the suit as well, so it matches. It's super cute. It's one of my favorites. So then I made some more for some people. So breezing through it really quick. We got the Eevee. This one went to Rin as well. Rin had some family members that really wanted one, so that's one of the big giant life-size ones. That's a pattern from Solenis Crafts. I've linked them before. I'm gonna link everything down at the bottom anyway, but specifically because it used to be through like Feather Stitch, but they changed their name, so I don't want to say the wrong one. But yeah, so I made one of those. I think that's like the 4th or 5th one I've made. People really like them. I really like the fur in the front. I like using the long fur and the real fur. It's annoying to work with, but I think it's really cute. Then we have an axolotl. That one is based off of a Choli Knight pattern. That one also went to Rin. Then we've got these ducks over here. So another friend of ours also got married, another streamer friend, and so I made the entire family that was going to be at the wedding, and made them little wedding ducks. So I sent that over, and then we have little Eevee keychains. That also got sent to Rin. And down in the bottom, in the middle, our lovely friend Otter Time wanted an otter plush. However, I wanted to go beyond and above. So Choli Knight had a otter plush pattern, but I took that as the opportunity to make the otter first. I used the pattern to make that. I used it to make the little shell over in the hand. That was all done. But then I patterned out all of the clothes that's part of Otter's upcoming model. So Otter has like this little yellow scarf, this little like overpiece, a little wetsuit, a little net, a little hat, all of this sort of stuff. I went above and beyond and I patterned out all of this clothes for it. So I made the wetsuit, I made everything, I patterned out, and we did this all on stream too, because stream wanted to see it. So I made the otter ahead of time, but I wanted to show stream how it is that I pattern the clothes, because I'll usually typically do makeshift plushes. We'll do, actually showed how to do it out of paper towels. So I use that as like a stream teaching moment of like, hey, this is who I learned it from, this is how I do it. So we patterned all of that, and I made Otter's clothes for a little otter plush, and so that went to Otter. And then Riley's kid Minnie wanted a dragon, so I sent one of the shoulder dragons. That's one from BZ Art. So I love making those. I hate the fur, and I'm mad that I added the fur, but it looks so cute. It looked so cute, and it was so soft. But man, I hate fur. It's the worst thing I did. And then I had some kids who I know that wanted some dragons, so that's what the blue one is, that's what the gray one is. The gray one actually ended up going to Velvet as well, because as you can see, over in the corner, there's somebody familiar. There's a little fancy gargoyle. That is actually a pattern from Choli Night. It's the floppy dragon pattern, and I edited it, and I used some of the other pieces from some of the other things. And I made Damon. I made Velvet's little gargoyle mascot Damon. And super cute. And so I did that. I added the little collar. I added a little tag. I had one 3D printed by my lovely roommate. And put that together, and we did that on stream over 2 days. I used the wings from the 2-foot dragon pattern that you'll see later from Shifty. So it was a ton of fun doing so, and chat got to watch me do that, and then I finished it off stream, and I sent it to Velvet, and I sent the little gray one on the side, just to kind of match. So now it's like a little gray dragon. I used the same exact color. I think that's my favorite part about taking pictures of these, and why people always think that I'm kind of nuts, because whenever I send them pictures of the fabric, I'll send it to them in low light, and I'll send it to them in sunlight, because even looking at just my room, you could see how different the light is, but you could see how different it is between the two of the same color. They're literally the same color. Those are both in the color ash, but you can see just how radically different it is. But anyway, one of the kids that was nearby that I see for Halloween every year asked for a dragon, so I made the one in the middle. So the dragons are from dragonsgarden.eu. They're a cute little in the hoop thing. It's just like the toothless pattern, so I wanted to send that over and have more dragons everywhere. So then chat has gotten obsessed with donkeys. We started playing RimWorld, and one of our lovely members of chat, Sam, decided that we should have a donkey, and he wanted to name it Kong. And, hold on. It has gotten to the point where not only are they really severely obsessed with this thing, but they've been having a fun time with it. And I wasn't expecting it to turn out like this. It's gotten to the point where they insisted that we needed more donkey things. So first it started out where I hated this thing in RimWorld. This stupid little donkey pawn. Where they then went, we should make a donkey. So the one up in the top corner, that little gray one, we made from a Choli Night pattern. And I said, okay, we're done with this. And we said we'd never do it again. Then I sent that one to Sam, because this was Sam's fault. I contacted, I said, hey, do you want this thing? I think it's cursed. I don't want it in my house. And Sam went, sure. And so the very first one, the light gray one, got sent to Sam. And that's the one that matches kind of the colors of the RimWorld one at the bottom. But then chat insisted that I had to make another one. So I made a donation goal, and I said, if we hit this for charity, I'll make another donkey. So this is now the second time that we've hit a charity goal, and I had to make this stupid donkey. However, the second one we made on stream. The first one we did not. The second one we made on stream. Actually, I think it was both of them. I think we made both on stream. But as you can see, Chat Bad is sitting there. But the thing with that one, as you can see, he got put in a box. And where did he go? He got sent to Pura, who has a 3D scanner, who scanned in the model, put it into Unity, added bones to it, and now here I am. So that middle one, as you can see, it's the same nose, it's the same face, it's everything. That middle one got 3D scanned in and got turned into a model. So Chad insists that I have to keep wearing this every so often. So now we're really getting like seamstressy here. So I no longer have him. I went ahead and said, Pyrrha, nope, that curse is now upon you. So fortunately now both of them are gone. The problem was that Chad got mad at me for that and said, you should do more donkey stuff. And I said, fine, we'll needle felt one. So an honorable mention to the needle felted donkey that we made for charity. We made during charity month this year. Yay. But Riley said that we needed to name that one Clementine. So that's Clementine, the needle felted donkey, who now sits on my shelf over here and watches over me every day. Now I can't get ahead of this donkey thing. So maybe there'll be more donkey plushes later. I don't know yet. I haven't figured it out. But hold on, because I should probably change. Because I'm going to be really mad if I have to keep looking at this donkey the entire time. Because I really dislike the donkey. I think it's just been a rallying point of, oh, what does Kyuu dislike the most? Ah, this donkey. Perfect. So, then also on stream, we made a couple more projects. So we have an completely articulate, as you can see, completely articulate little octopus down in the bottom. So that's the little red guy. That one was actually recommended by Calborg, who really wanted us to make. I did really crummy profile pictures for really cheap for charity a little while ago, and now it's kind of become standard. And I drew a red octopus wearing a top hat with stilettos. And Cal was like, could you make that as a plush? And I said, sure. So I had a couple of years ago, it was a nice little pattern from Rita Van Tessel. So you can go and pick that up as well. You can make giant ones, you can make little normal ones. We made like one that's like the size of the chair. Like now you can kind of see like the zoom out of the chair. So he's pretty big, but I added some of the gold beads actually that I had left over from when I made Otter's netting, to make it look like the little weights at the bottom of the net that you would use for fishing and stuff. But I just used those and I attached them on to the octopus to make it look like the little suckers. Because as you could see kind of in the example image, so that's how like the stream is set up if you haven't been around recently. Now that we're doing the sewing streams, not only do we have like an overhead stream camera, but chat wanted me to get a second one. So I was able to use the old webcam. It kind of works still. So we put that one down in the bottom corner. So now you get two angles, and then I put in the other corner the example of what it is that we're making. So even in the example, they try and use like all kinds of fun textured patterns and stuff. I'm trying to clear out fabric, so I didn't want to buy more fabric is what happened. So and then we made a 2-foot dragon. Now that guy is big. He's giant. That guy I'm keeping, that is actually also a pattern from Makeshift. So when Shifty made it, I used the pattern wings scaled down for Damon, if you remember that point. But when I went to go make it the proper way, when you go to put it in, you only put the funny colors. You can kind of see the yellow on the inside of the one in the back. You only put the funky colors on the inside, whereas for Damon, I needed it on both sides. So it was even harder to do, because then I had to do all of the wings 4 times. Except on stream, I did it backwards. I put the wrong colors. So now I just have random dragon wings in the wrong colors that are just in my closet. So I have to attach it to something. But, I really recommend the pattern. It was really cute. Even if you were to hand sew all of it, I think it would still come out really cute and fun. But I used some of my favorite pattern fabrics, like the Starbright one down the belly, that I've used for like Banana the Bat and stuff like that. I just really like the yellow with the ivory colors. Plus, I also had it left over because I have so much of that banana fabric because I thought it would be more popular. Nobody liked it. I think it's only me. I think I'm the only one that likes that color banana. I have so much banana. So it's been a fun time. It's been really great getting to not only do fun projects that I wouldn't do otherwise, but also do fun stuff the chat wants to see. So I am very grateful, and I am keeping these two. I'm actually keeping a lot of these unless I'm giving them out specifically to the kids or someone requested specifically. So it's been a fun time, and I like the fact that I get to make things for other people. Not only just because then I don't have to keep it, but I can kind of cycle out and I can make some more new stuff that I wouldn't otherwise get. Like I probably would have never made an otter pattern. I would have never made the octopus pattern, even though I bought it years ago. I never would have unless I had a reason to. So it's kind of nice that way. So it's been fun. Now, the main project from the past couple of years, though, if you have not seen any of my socials, I made a very, very tiny, which I did show off in the last part. I made a very tiny little snooze, as a little doll, and I did that as a Christmas present. And Snooze hit me up. My lovely friend Snooze VT, my now former manager, still best friend, goes, "Hey, can you make more of those?" And now it has started a phenomena. Now it is a full phenomena. Where we made not only False Echo, Amaya Whisper, Miss Lacuna, Astronautilus, Love Mura / Bree. We have Ziria / Rio VT. And we have Dame Rika. Those are all friends of Snoozes. And we made all of them. I went into like a full explanation for each one of them on stream a while ago. I mean, if you guys want to see that again, let me know. Because maybe I could redo it with all of the fancy pictures, but that's the full group photo. But I took like professional pictures of each one of them, along with going over each and every little bit of all of them. But this is one of the reasons why I like doing the stuff with real clothing, because even as you look at it, it mimics real clothing. You know, it's not something that you'd be able to get as somebody's merch that would, you know, be subliminated or printed for any of their stuff. This is like actual, you know, actual 100%. I went for lacunas. I bought actual leather. I punched it myself. For Astros, I made an actual plug suit out of 4-way stretch pleather. For Breeze in the middle, I wanted to keep the curls of her hair as true to life as possible, and I hand curled all the yarn. For Ria's, I printed out a whole bunch of little 3D bird skulls, like the little raven skulls to actually match. For Rika's, we went through, and there's actually sections of her model that are actually this gradient, so I hand dyed all the fabric. For Amaya's, we have like little gold inlays and stuff, and we 3D printed little daggers and things. For False's, I actually patterned a boob pattern, because as you can see, a couple of the ladies here are well endowed. I still use that boob pattern that I drafted based off of Mon-Friday's pattern. So that's a boob pattern that I made specifically just so everybody would match. So they could be as true as possible to their models. And then other people got excited and said, "Hey, can you do that again?" Except I really like the button variations, so now I've got like a couple of each. I really like the button eyes. I think it reads more like fun stuffed animal fun time. Whereas the eyes, now all of these eyes you can actually get from Mon Pattern as well. There are a couple of different styles. I've been going through and kind of editing them to whatever it is that I need. But it's been a lot of fun doing them. I do like stitching them out. I think a lot of people like them. But I really, there's a quality to the eyes being the buttons, I think. Especially because I can kind of draw on them, so I painted all of them so it matched like their models' eyes and stuff. So, but then we made Tora. That one was a trade with the very lovely Eb, and there's actually a full video going over how I made Tora, so you can always go and watch that one. And I made Solar as well, so that's a pattern from Teacup Laura. But I drafted all the clothes patterns and stuff for Tora's too. I used actual jean fabric. I bought a pair of like kids jeans, ripped it apart. I bought swimsuit fabric. I added all the little pieces for the tail and the ears and things like that. And then we got Capins up there. So we've got Ratty, we've got Ren, we've got Capin. There is actually supposed to be more because Capin commissioned some more. So there is going to be more of these at some point. But you know, this is all like real actual clothing. Like the fuzzy is like a children's jacket that I found for Ratty. I had 2 pairs of pants that were the closest that I could get for the color variation in Ren's outfit. Capin and Ratty both have that really nice brown tweed fabric. You know, and it was just fun getting to do that. So I've been doing that now recently. I just finished another couple of them. I've got a couple more left on my list to do. And now people are kind of like, oh no, Q can do this. So I kind of got burnt out a little bit. So I think I'm going to try and scale it back a little bit, especially because pretty soon I have a new model coming up. And not only that, but we hit a charity goal for me to make myself as a VTuber doll. So that's going to be coming to a stream near you. So if you're looking to see how this is done based off the pattern, like obviously I'm not sharing Mon-Friday's pattern or anything like that, but you know, I can show you how I draft these patterns, because all of the clothing I hand draft and then I get rid of it. That's a holdover from when I used to do stuff for the furry community, because there are like closed species and stuff. So when I would pattern stuff, if it was part of a closed species, then obviously I would destroy it. So a lot of these are unique to each and every one of them. Because, I mean, you know, even looking at the jacket from Ratty to Astro, for example, they're not going to be the exact same. So I just make all of them to match what they should be. So it's been a fun time. They're huge, they're giant, they're cuddly, they're soft. And it's been a fun time doing so. And I hope to make a whole bunch more. And there'll be appearances of these guys coming to a stream near you. So, hey, thanks for listening to me yap for like an hour about my plushes. I really like all the ones that I've been collecting, and I really like all the ones that I've been making. So I really appreciate it. Thank you, Burger Time, you lovely anonymous gifter. I really appreciate it. Thank you for buying me Bunger. Thank you so that I could do another tour of something that I'm really passionate about. I always love trading stuffed animals. I always love sending them to people. And I really love making new different things. So I'm gonna link all of the pattern people down in the bottom. So if there's any in particular that you're looking for or you want to make their stuff, they should all be listed at the bottom. Anybody that sent me something, like Patch, for example, I'm going to link to them and stuff like that. So, hey, thanks! I hope to see you guys at a live stream at some point. We're trying to do at least one sewing stream per month. And it's a fun time. So hopefully I see you there. But thanks, YouTube! Appreciate it! Goodbye!